everyone, this is Gina. Today I'm going to show you how to make this bracelet. Now this bracelet is very intricate looking. It's very detailed. I want to show you exactly what it looks like on both sides. This is the back. Now I used two different colors of seed beads so that I could see exactly what I was doing and where I needed to go as I was making the actual bracelet. But it's so pretty that you could probably wear it reversed like this, so you could have either side. You can see how nicely it came together on the back, and then I want you to see the detail on the front. Each unit is very nice. The side looks braided. It's very, very pretty. So it takes a little time and a little patience to do this, and it is a more advanced project. However, it's the way I've shown it step by step and done the embellishment step by step instead of doing each unit and each embellishment all at once. It should be fairly easy for moderate beginning, more moderate beginning beaders to do. I wouldn't do it as my first project, but watch through and see if you think it's something you can handle. If so, go for it. Anyway, this is what we're going to make today, and I'm going to show you what it looks like on my wrist so you can see how nicely it fits and lays and moves like so. This is the clasping, and this is what it looks like on my wrist. Let's get a little closer. Very pretty. Okay, let's look and see what we need to make this project today. For this project, you will need 3x4 crystal rondelles. This is a clear Chinese crystal rondelle. You will need 4mm crystal cubes. This is also a Chinese crystal cube, and it is red with an AB finish. You will need 8/0, 11/0, and 15/0 seed beads. All three of these are Toho seed beads. These two are galvanized aluminum permanent finish silver tone, and this one is copper permanent finish metallic Toho, and it is the 11/0. So 8/0, 11/0, and 15/0. You will need a clasp of your choosing. I'm going to use this little sterling silver heart toggle clasp for mine today. I would have actually preferred to have a smaller clasp than this, but I didn't have one, so I'm going to settle for this one and see if I can make it work the way I think it should. Then you will need a size 10 or 12 beading needle, and you will need 6 or 8 pound Fireline. You would probably be better off with a size 12 and 6 pound Fireline with this project, as we are going to be using quite a few 15/0 seed beads, and you'll want to be able to travel through them easily. So let's go ahead and get started with this project. You will want to thread onto your needle to start. You will want to put on a full 2 wingspans of Fireline. Okay. So we are going to go ahead and get started with the base portion of this bracelet. And the way we're going to do that is we are going to start with 12 11/0 seed beads. So pick up 12 11/0 seed beads onto your needle. That's 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Let me make sure I have 12. 3, 6, 9, 12. 12 11/0 seed beads onto my needle, just like this. Then I'm going to bring them to the end of my thread. You do not have to leave a long tail, just enough to hold on to. And then you're going to come back through the first 3, and just the first 3 on the tail side of your thread, and pull your needle through. And now you are going to pick up 15/0 seed bead. You are coming out, let's get just a little closer so you can see what I'm doing really well. You're coming out, you have 3 little 11/0s here. You're coming out of this one here. You're going to pick up a 15/0 seed bead onto your needle. You're going to go into the next 3 11/0s on your little circle here and pull 15O down in between the first 6 here. Then you're going to pick up another 15O seed bead, like so. You're going to put 3 more 11O seed beads onto your needle from your circle here, just like so. And you're going to pull the 15O seed bead in between the 11Os, like so. Then you're going to pick up another 15O seed bead, and you're going to pick up 3 more 11O seed beads onto your needle. And you're going to pull the 15O between the 11Os. This is starting, as you can see, to form a square. We need to add 1 more between these 11Os here. Now, each unit we make is going to consist of 3 11O seed beads for each side. We will place 15 O's between each 11O, or each set of 3 11Os. We are now going to go into the next 3 11Os with our 15O on our needle, like so, and pull. Just like so. And this is what this should look like. You'll have a little square. Now you're going to ignore this 15O seed bead right here. You're coming out of this 11O. You're going to ignore this 15O in the corner. You're going to go down into the next set of 3 11O seed beads, and you're going to exit the third 11O seed bead and pull your thread through, like so. Then you will pick up 2 8O seed beads onto your needle, like this. You are coming out of the third 11O seed bead. You are going to go into the first 11O on the opposite side, just like this. And you're going to go through all 3 11O seed beads and pull the 2 8O seed beads down next to the 11Os. Try not to pull your square out of whack, but you're going to get it a little wobbly. That's okay, just don't get it unreasonably out of shape, like so. Now you're coming out of these 11O seed beads, you're going to come back up into these 2 8O seed beads. Now there's no way to get this perfect, this little connection I'm making perfect. As we sew through our piece, we will get them straightened up. And this first base, they're going to look a little funny. We want them to look as neat as possible, but they're not going to look perfect. Now we're coming out of these 2 8O seed beads here. We are going to pick up 3 11O seed beads onto the needle, like so. You're coming out of the top of this 8O. You're going to go into the bottom of the bottom 8O here, like this. So go into the opposite side of the set of 8Os. Pull the 3 11Os up next to it, like so. And then, let me see if I can hold on to this here. We are going to come down the 3 11Os we just added. So we're coming out of the 8Os. We're going to come down the 3 11Os we just added on to our little piece here, and just hold on to them with your finger and thumb, like so, and secure them by pulling the thread through nice and tightly, like so. And this is what you should have. Now we need to make the next unit like this here. So we've got our first 3 seed beads. We started out with 12. We will now need 9 since we have 3 already on here. So we're going to pick up 9 seed beads. It's easier if you just pick up 3 sets of 3. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, like this. And we're coming out of this side of the 11Os. We're going to go into the opposite side of the 11Os and go through all 3 of them, like so, and then we're going to pull them through. I'm going to back off just slightly. I want you to be able to see, but this is getting a little difficult to stay focused here. Okay, so now we have all of our seed beads on here, but we need to add our 15 O's between the sets of 3. So we're coming out of the set of 3 here. I'm going to turn this way, And I am going to come in just a little closer again so you can see what I'm doing, and then we'll back off when we have a couple units already completed. So I'm coming out of these 3 here. Pick up a 15-0 seed bead onto your needle, like so. Go into the next 3 11-0 seed beads, like this. Pull your 15-0 seed bead down while holding your thumb and forefinger over the beads to keep them in place. Secure the little 15-0 into place. Now it's going to look very thready here in this connection. Don't worry about that. We will take care of that later in the project. Now, just make sure things don't have a whole lot of slack. There will be a little bit, but keep it as neat and tight as you can. Back off a little, pick up another 15-0 seed bead. We're coming out of these 3 11-0s here. Turn this. We're going to go into the next 3 11-0 seed beads on our piece, like so. Pull the thread through, turn it, pick up another 15-0 seed bead, come through the next 3 11-0s on your piece, pull the 15-0 seed bead down between the 11-0s in the corner, like so. Now you have one more corner that needs a 15-0. Pick up a 15-0 seed bead, go down the next 3 11-0 seed beads, and only the 11-0 seed beads. Avoid the 15-0 on the corner, like so, and pull through. Now we're going to avoid these 15-0s, and we're going to sew back down to this set of 3 11-0s in order to make our next unit, our next actual connection for our next unit. So I'm going to, my finger is still injured, I'm trying to keep it out of the picture. I'm a little bit clumsy, sorry about that. We're going to go up through these next 3 11-0s. We're just going to avoid, as we sew up to get to the last set, or the most outward set of 11-0s, we're going to avoid the 15-0 seed beads in the corner and just sew through the 11-0s. So I'm coming out of this set of 11-0s now. I'm going to grab this set here. And pull. Like so. Now we're going to make our little connection of 8-0s and then start our next unit. So we're coming out of these 3 11-0 seed beads. We're going to pick up 2 8-0 seed beads onto our needle. We are then going to go into the 11-0s and just the 11-0s, avoiding the 15-0s in the corner, and come back through all 3 of them like this. Hold on to the piece with your thumb and finger. Pull the 8-0s into place like so. Go through the 8-0s now. You're coming out of these 11-0s, go down into the 8-0s, like so. Pick up 3 11-0 seed beads onto your needle. You're coming out of the 8-0s on this side, you're going to go into the 8-0s on the opposite side and pull the 3 11-0s down right next to the 8-0s, like so. Then you're going to come, if you're coming out of the 8-0s, you're going to come back up through the 3 11-0s you just added. They want to move all over the place. You just have to finagle your needle through, get all 3 of them. As you pull them through this time, you can secure them and they'll stay into place better, like this. Now you're going to do the rest of your unit. So we have 3 on here. We need to pick up 6 more. So, or actually 9 more, excuse me. We're doing 12 on each unit, so we need to pick up 9 more 11-0 seed beads. So go ahead and pick up 3 sets of 3 11-0s. So there's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2, 3. Just like this. And then we're coming out of this side of the 11 O's. We're going to go into this side of the 11 O's. And we are going to pull the needle through like so. And this is what you should have, just a circle. Now we need to place our 15-0 seed beads between each set of 3 11-0s. We're coming out of a set of 3 11-0s, so we're going to pick up a 15-0 seed bead. We're going to turn our piece like so. I'm sorry, I'm clumsy. We're going to turn our piece like so. We're going to pick up 3 more 11-0 seed beads like this. I'm going to hold on to my piece with my thumb and my forefinger and pull that 15-0 firmly into place, like so. Now I'm coming out of the second set of 11-0 seed beads. I'm going to go into the next set of 3. I'm going to pick up a 15-0 seed bead. I am going to go into 3 more 11-0 seed beads on my piece, like so. And then you're going to pick up a 15-0 seed bead. You're coming out of this set of 3. We're going to go into the next set of 3, placing the 11-0 seed bead between them, or 15-0 seed bead, excuse me. Let's go into the next set of 3 like so. Pull the 15-0 seed bead into place. Pick up another 15-0 seed bead like so. Go into the next set of 3. Avoid the 15-0 on the other side of the set of 3 11-0s and pull your needle through. Now we're going to sew through each set of the set of 11-0s here and the set of 11-0s here so that we can start our next unit. Remember, as you sew up through the 11-0s, to avoid the 15-0s in the corner. Just leave them alone and just skip over them and go into the 11-0s, pull the needle through like so. Now I'm going to skip this 15-0 here, go into these 3 11-0s here, and I will be set, once I get through these 3 11-0s, I will be set to start my next unit. And we will make our entire base for our bracelet this way. So you will just now put on your 2 8-0s, then your 3 11-0s, then your next unit, and you will continue making these units until you have enough units to go around your wrist or to make the length that you think that you need. You can measure it on a bracelet board or you can measure it around your wrist. Go all the way to the length you want and leave it short 1 inch. So that if you want to make a 7-inch bracelet, then you need to make a 6-inch base. If you want to make a 7.5, then actually you'll want to try to stay on whole lengths, because these units you're not going to be able to negotiate with. So just get as close to the length that you want. Leave it 1 inch short of that length, and we will be back. Okay, so as you can see, I have made 14 units of my base here. I'm counting the square, each square as a unit. So this measures at exactly 6 inches. Now I want my bracelet to be 7, a little over 7. My wrist is just a little under 7 inches. However, I like my bracelet to be a little bit bigger so it moves around. I don't like it to be real tight on my wrist. So my toggle is about 1 inch in size, maybe not quite, but real close. And then I need to make a little bit of an extension away from the bracelet itself to attach my toggle. So I will end up with a little over 7-inch bracelet. And that's exactly where I want to be. Now, if you want a smaller bracelet, then you will take away a unit or 2. If you want a bigger bracelet, then you will add a unit or 2 to make your bracelet whatever size will fit your wrist. or the person that you're making the bracelet for. Now, let's get real close here. I am coming out here of this set of 3 11-0s. I'm going to avoid this corner 15-0, and I'm going to come out of these 3 11-0s here. I'm just going to pull through. I'll show you as soon as I get this organized. I think I'm going to turn it this way. So all I did was make sure I'm coming out of the end 11-0s here. So wherever you ended your last unit, come up through, make sure you're coming out just like you would to start another unit, just as you've been doing all along. Then we're going to go ahead and pick up 2 8-0 seed beads, just like we have been doing, and we're going to go into the opposite side of the 3 11-0s we're coming out of, just like this. Now we're going to sew through these 8-0s, so we're coming out of the 11-0s here. We're going to go back through these 2 8-0s to straighten them up and secure them. Go back through the 3 11-0s that you originally came out of. So you're coming out of the 8-0s here. Go back up through the 11-0s. Secure this. And then go back through the 8-0s. Now we are going to pick up 2 15-0 seed beads and an 8-0, like so. I'm going to set this down. I'm going to drop these down to my piece of work, like so. Then I'm going to pick up my toggle, and I am going to go through the toggle, like so. And then I am going to go back through just the 8-0 here. And I'm going to pull this tight. Now, if you find this a little too wobbly, you can just use 1 15-0. You can adjust this any way you want. You don't even have to use the 15-0 if you don't want to. But I kind of feel like I need a little bit of movement in the clasping, so that's why I'm doing this. Then pick up 2 more 15-0 seed beads. You're coming out of the 8-0 right underneath the clasp. You're going to go through the 2 8-0s on your piece, and you're going to pull this tight. And this is what you should have. Go ahead and sew through this several times to secure it, and then exit the 8-0s just like we are now after you've secured it, and we will be back. Okay, so I have secured my clasp onto my bracelet, and now we're going to begin doing our first row of embellishments. And what we're going to do is we're going to come up through the 15-0 seed bead in the corner now. So we're coming out of this 8-0. We've been avoiding these 15-0s, but this time we're going to come up through it, and just it. So come through that 15-0, pull your thread through, like so. And then we're going to make a little embellishment from 15-0 to 15-0 by picking up 2 15-0 seed beads. Then let me back off a little. 2 15-0 seed beads, and 11-0 and 2 15-0 onto your needle, like so. Now I'm going to come back in because I'm too far away now. Sorry if I'm driving you crazy with the camera, but I want to make sure you can see what I'm doing. So 2 15-0s and 11-0 and 2 15-0s. You're coming out of this 15-0 seed bead. You're going to go into this 15-0 seed bead on the next corner and just pull your thread right through like this. And bring them down to where they just lay on top of the square of your base unit here. And then, it's just, camera angles driving me crazy. Then pick up a 3x4 crystal roundel. You're coming out of this little 15-0. you're going to go into this 15-0 right here. And you're going to pull the roundel between the two. And you don't want to have any slack. And as you work through, you won't have to worry about it too much. Just make sure that it's not real loose, but it's going to kind of look loose until you get your next unit going. So just as you make your little embellishments here, just make sure that your thread stays fairly taut. Don't pull it to the point to where you pull things out of shape, but make sure there's no slack. Pick up 2 15-0 seed beads and 11-0 and 2 15-0 seed beads. And then you're coming out of this 15-0 here. You're going to go into the next 15-0 in the corner of the next unit here. So let's see if I can find the little hole here. I'm going to go into this 15-0 just like so, and I am going to pull my thread through until I have it pulled all the way, and this little new piece is laying like an arch over the unit. And then we will pick up a 3x4 roundel like so. You're coming out of this 15-0 seed bead, you're going to go into the next 15-0 seed bead, skipping over the 2 8-0s and pulling the roundel over the top of the 8-0s, like so. Just like this. Then you are going to pick up 2 15-0 seed beads and 11-0 and 2 15-0s. And again, you will go into the next little 15-0 on the corner of your unit. And then again, you will pick up a roundel, and you will go from this corner unit to this corner unit 15-0 and pull it into place. You will continue doing this until you get all the way to the last unit, and then we will be back to see the next step. Okay, so I have put my entire embellishment on. I'm just about to put my last roundel on between my last 2 units here, and then travel up to the top to put on this end of clasping. So let's get close so you can see. And my roundel, I'm coming out of the last little 15-0 right here. I'm going to go into this 15-0 here, pull my roundel down just like I've been doing the entire length of the bracelet, and then I will again pick up 2 15-0 seed beads and an 11-0 and 2 15-0s like so, and I will go from this bead to this bead right here. And then I will also go through the 3 11-0 seed beads right here, and then exit before I get to the 15-0 and just pull my needle through. Now I'm going to do exactly as I did on the other side and put my clasping on this side. So let me get this arranged here. And I am going to first pick up 2 8-0 seed beads. I am coming out of this 11-0 seed bead. I've got 2 8-0 seed beads onto my needle. I am going to go back down through the other side of the 3 11-0s, like so. Just the 11-0s, avoiding the 15-0, and come through the 11-0s and pull these 8-0s down. I am now going to cut this tail off because it's just in my way. So I'm just going to cut it down. I'm not going to melt it down at this point because I don't want it to get blobbed inside of my little 15-0 because I need to go back through it again. We will come back and burn it down at the end. So now I'm coming out of these 8-0s, or out of these 11-0s right here. I have to secure these 2 8-0 seed beads so that I can secure my end here. So go ahead and go through the 8-ohs, then back down through the 11-ohs, just like we did on the other side, like so. Then back up through the 8-oh seed beads here, and then we will do the same thing we did on the other side. We will pick up 2 15-ohs and an 8-oh and bring them down. So 2 15-ohs and an 8-oh, and then your clasp, go through the clasp, bring it down, go back through the 8-oh like so, and pull it through like this. Pick up 2 15-oh seed beads onto your needle like so. Go into the other side of the 8-ohs from which you started and pull until you have a little triangular shape and you have everything attached now. So back up through everything several times and then exit the 8-oh and come back out, and we will come back and continue on to the next side. So go ahead and secure this and we'll be back. Okay, so I have secured my clasping on here and I'm coming out of the 8-oh seed beads. Now we need to get over to this side to start our next embellishments on this side of the bracelet. So what we need to do is we need to come out of our 8-ohs, go through these 11-ohs, and then through this 15-oh to start. So we're coming out of these 8-ohs right here. We're going to go down into these 3 11-ohs. Now this is getting kind of tight. This is where we started our whole thing here. And so if you need to, use a flat nose pair of pliers to pull it through. And then go up through this little 15-oh in the corner here. Now this first unit has been a little kind of funny looking. Once we start doing our next embellishments, our next step, excuse me, I got tangled on something, so let me get this under control here. There we go. There. Let me back off a little bit. Now that will start our next set of embellishments on this side. Everything will pull our little squares back into shape here. So now we're coming out of this 15-oh seed bead right here. We're going to start our next set of embellishments, and we're going to do it exactly the same way we did on the other side. Let's get close. Let's start the embellishments, and then you can take it to length, and then we will do our next set of embellishments. So what we're going to do is we're going to pick up 2 15-oh seed beads, an 11-oh seed bead, and 2 15-oh seed beads onto our needle, just like this. We're coming out of this 15-oh, we're going to come into this 15-oh right here. We're going to pull these down over our little unit like this. At this point, if you would like, you can take your lighter and burn that little tiny tail in, like so. And there's your first one. Then you will pick up a roundel. You will go from this 15-oh to this 15-oh right here. And pull it down. And make sure that there's no slack between units, like so. Back off a little bit now. You know what I'm doing, so you should be able to see okay. Pick up 2 15-oh seed beads, an 11-oh seed bead, 2 15-oh seed beads, and then go from this 15-oh to this 15-oh right here and pull them, making sure there's no slack, like so. And then again, pick up a roundel. Go from 15-oh to 15-oh. And you will continue these embellishments all the way the length of the side of the bracelet, just like so, making sure that there is no slack between each unit as you pull through. Make sure your rondelles hold it together. Now, if your little ADOs start popping up in between, that's okay. We want that. That will be the front of our bracelet, and that's okay. So don't worry about that. If that starts to happen, just make sure there's absolutely no slack between units where your rondelle is. Don't want to see the thread. And we will be back. Okay, so I'm about halfway through, a little bit more than halfway through my embellishment, putting on my rondelles on this side. I just wanted to show you, as you do this, make sure that as your little 8/0 seed beads pop up, you can kind of aid them in popping up. And see, as you pull your rondelle tight, they pop up. Make sure they pop up all on the same side. You don't want some on this side popping out. You want them all popping out on the same side, so that will be the top of your bracelet. So as you do this, I'll show you. We'll put on our little embellishment here. We'll put on 2 15/0s and an 11/0, and then 2 15/0s here, and come through the next one here. I'm going to pull this tight, and then I'm going to pick up my rondelle. I'm going to just let these kind of lift up, and I will go into my next little 15/0 here. And as I pull this tight, these two will pop up some. If they don't pop up on their own, then just lift them up, just like so, so that your rondelle is nice and tight in there. And that's what that should look like as you're doing that. And just those little 8/0s just kind of pop up a little bit in between. It doesn't have to be real prominent, but it does have to be there, popped up a little bit. And then we will be back once we finish this entire side. Okay, so I have finished my embellishment on this side completely now. And I am coming out of, and as you can see, my little 8/0 seed beads are kind of popped up on the top. Now, they're not really prominently popped up, just a little bit. I just want to make sure if they do pop up, they're popping up all on the same side. Now, you can make them pop up more if you like that look, or it kind of cinches in your bracelet a little bit. Just make sure, or you can stretch it out and make them pop up less. It doesn't matter. Just make sure that it's all on the same side, that you don't have your bracelet, some 8/0s on the back and some on the front popping up all funny, because then your bracelet's going to be kind of funny looking. So now let's get close here. We are coming out of this little 15/0 seed bead on the corner here after putting on the very last embellishment on this side. Now I'm going to go down through these 3 15/0 seed beads. And as I said before, these ones underneath the clasping get a little bit tight because you've sewed through them more. So if you need to, use your flat nose pliers to pull your thread through. And my thread has a little slip knot. There we go. And now I am going to go up into the 15/0 on the corner. Then I'm going to go into the embellishment 15/0s right here and pull through. And then I'm going to go just through this 11/0 seed bead right here, like so, and pull my needle through. And now I am going to begin putting on my my crystal cubes. So what I'm going to do is I am going to pick up a crystal cube like so. And I'm coming out of this little 11/0 seed bead right here. I want to find the opposite 11/0 seed bead in the opposite embellishment and go in on the same side that I'm coming out here. So I'm coming out right here. I'm going to go in right here. And it's very important that you don't crisscross and go into the other side of the 11-0. So coming out of this side, like I said, I'm going to go into the same side in the opposite seed bead here, right here in this 11-0, and I'm going to exit. And then I'm going to pull this crystal cube up like this. Now I'm coming out of this side here. I need to go back through the cube, like so, pull it tight, and then go back through the opposite side I started in. In the bead, I first started putting the crystal cube on through. So I'm going to go through that 11-0 and the first two 15-0 seed beads right next to it, if I can do them all at once, just like this. And I'm going to pull my needle through. Now arrange your crystal so that it's in there laying nicely. And then you will pick up 4 15-0 seed beads. So this is what it looks like so far. Now you're going to pick up 4 15-0 seed beads, and you're going to go into the 15-0 seed beads just in the embellishment. You're not going to go into this one way down here in the corner. See this one way down here in your original square that you made, the very first ones you put in as you made your squares? You're not going to go into that one. You're just going to go into the embellishment 15-0s right here and the 11-0, just like so, and you're going to pull these down like this around the cube, just like that. Now we're going to go into these two 15-0s right here. We're coming out of this 11-0. We're going to go into these two 15-0s, and just these two 15-0s. Don't go down into that little corner 15-0 in the original little square. Don't go down into that one down there. Just come out of this one here. Pick up 4 more 15-0s onto your needle. Go over into these two 15-0s, avoiding that one down in the corner. Don't get it. Just go into these two in the embellishment. Just in the embellishment. Go through as many on top here as you can. Go through the 11-0, the 15-0, all the way over here. Pull this through so that it goes around your crystal cube like this. Now I need to go through this little 15-0 right here because I didn't get all 3 of them on top. You want to go through two of them. So I came out this 11-0, I got this 15-0, now I need to get this 15-0 too. Should get them all actually as you come through, but I didn't. So I'm going to go through this one. And then I'm going to pick up a 15-0 seed bead. I am going to go through this crystal roundel right here, like so. Then I'm going to pick up another 15-0 seed bead, and then I am going to go over the top of this 15-0 in the corner of this square here, and then just go into these two 11-0s right here, and then exit the 11-0. So into these two 15-0s, I called them 11-0s, excuse me. So you pick up a 15-0, go into these two 15-0s, and then exit the 11-0 in our embellishment on top of our original units. Pull this 15-0 down so that it's between the rondelle and the embellishment here. I'm going to back up just slightly. This is just too tight. I want to make sure you can see, but that's really tight for me to work in. I'm now going to pick up a crystal cube. I'm coming out of this 11-0 right here. I'm going to go into the same side of the opposite 11-0 in the opposite embellishment on the unit. So I've got a cube in my hand on my needle. I'm going to go through this side of the 11-0 right here. I'm going to pull the crystal into place, like so. Then I'm going to go back down into the crystal Even it out, make sure it's laying in that little box nicely. And then go back into the 11-0 on the side that you started in, right here. And then you will pick up the 11-0 and the two 15-0s on the other side of it, avoiding the 15-0 underneath in the original unit. We're just working in the embellishment 15-0s, and that's all. Now we're going to pick up 4 15-0 seed beads. We're coming out of this little 15-0 in our embellishment. We are going to go into the 15-0 up here on this side of the embellishment, right here. 15-0, the 15-0 behind it, and the 11-0 here. And we're going to pull these 4 15-0 around the side of the cube like so. And then we're going to pick up, got my thread tangled again. We're going to pick up these two on the other side of the 11-0 in the embellishment, just like this. Go over the top of the 15-0 in the original unit, pick up 4 more 15-0s, and then we're going to go all the way across into the original 2 here. So we just added this one right here. Let me get really, really close so you can see. Poop. Okay, let's see. I think we're close enough. This little 15-0 you just added as you came through. You want to avoid it. You want to go into the 2 on the embellishment that we originally did here, and then into the 11-0 over here, and the 2 15-0s on the other side of the 11-0 if you can. If you can pick them all up at once, it's best, but you can't always do it. I can't do it. So I'm just going to come through as many as I can get, pull these 4 15-0s down, make sure that my embellishment is nice and neat, that my cube lays really nice and straight inside there, so it looks like a bezel around it. And then I'm going to go back into this little 15-0 that I missed on the top here. See, this is what you want to try to get them all if you can, because it's a pain in the rear end. But if you don't, you don't. So there we go. I'm in that one now that I missed. And I'm going to pick up a 15-0 and travel over to this roundel, and then a 15-0 and travel over to these 15-0s. Now you're going to notice as we do this, there will not be 15-0s on this side between the roundels and the embellishments we're putting on. We'll have to come back through and do those. There will just be on one side. So as we're working up, we will be putting 15-0s just on this side between the roundels and the embellishments we're just now doing. That's okay. Don't worry about it. We'll come back through and balance that out. Okay, so now I'm coming out of this little 15-0 right here. I'm going to pick up another 15-0. I'm going to go through this roundel right here. I'm going to pull this 15-0 down. Make sure I get it nice and tight and neat. And then I'm going to pick up another 15-0, just like so. I'm going to go into these 2 on top in my embellishment, just in my embellishment, not down here in the original base, just in the embellishment on top, and then go through the 11-0 on top also, right there. Pull that 15-0, you'll hear it pop into place. Then you will pick up another one of your crystal cubes. I'm going to back off a little bit now. And I'm going to go into, I'm coming out of this 11-0 right here. I'm going to go into the 11-0 on the opposite side, in the same side that I'm coming out of, on this side. And pull my crystal cube down, just like that. Now, I'm going to go back into the crystal cube, pull, go back down into the the 11 0 I started in right here, go into the two 15 O's right behind it, and pull. I'm going to then pick up 4 15 0 seed beads. I think I needed a 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm going to come across and into these two 15 0 seed beads here, and the 11 0. Pull these 4 down, just like so. Then I'm coming out of this 11 0, I need to come into these two 15 O's on the other side of the 11 0 here. Thread is in my own thread is in my own way. There. Coming through these two 15 O's. Pull my thread through, pick up 4 15 0 seed beads. And then I'm going to come up through these two here. I'm going to avoid the 15 0 I put on by the roundel here. I'm going to come into these two on top right here, and the 11 0, and I'm going to try to grab the two 15 O's behind it. All 4 of these beads on top here. That last 15 0 is really difficult to grab. If you can get it though, that's good. And I don't think I can, so I'm just going to come through the 11 0, pull these 4 15 O's down around my cube, straighten my cube out, make sure it looks good. Then I'm going to get these two 15 O's. It's easier than getting just the one by itself. So maybe just come through the 11 0 and then grab the two 15 O's behind it here, just like so. And then pick up a 15 0, go into the next roundel, pick up another 15 0, go from the roundel to the 15 O's in the top embellishment here, and go through those two 15 O's in the 11 0 and exit. And then again you will put in your cube, and you will continue working this till we get to the end unit and you have got your bead in it. Then we will be back and we will bring one small embellishment with just 15 O's on this side all the way up. So go ahead and finish putting your cubes in, and then we will be back. Okay, so I have finished putting my cubes in each unit. I've worked my way all the way down. Now we are all the way over in this corner, this very last little seed bead in my top embellishment, and after putting the last stone in, and we will work our way around this unit. Now as you can see, if I can get close enough without blurring, as you can see, as we went through on this side, we put a little 15 0 seed bead before and after each roundel, so that it kind of, the little 15 0 kind of went over the top and we could work our way through. However, in the process of doing it, we didn't do it on this side because that would have been very difficult sewing around to do that. We'd been just sewing redundantly to do that. So what we're going to do now is we're going to sew through, I'm coming out of this little 15 0 here, I'm going to sew through the 15 O's, the 4 that I put on around my little cube. When I put my last cube in, I'm going to sew through that. Then I'm going to sew through the next 4 on this side. And I'm going to exit out the top. I need to pick up one more 15 0 there. I'm going to exit out of the last 15 0 on the top embellishment. that holds my crystal in place. So I'm going to, oops, excuse me, out of frame. Okay, so I'm just going through these top beads here. The 5 beads in the top embellishment. I'm exiting the last 15-0. I'm going through it and exiting it. I'm not worrying about the 15-0 in the original embellishment right underneath here. We're not going through that. Just the top 5 beads on our the one that holds the crystal in. Now I'm going to pick up a 15-0 seed bead onto my needle, like so, and I am just going to pass through the rondelle and pop the seed bead between the 15-0s here on the embellishment. Darn it. Let's get in frame here, huh? The 15-0s here and the rondelle. Now I'm going to pick up another 15-0. I'm going to go into the top embellishment 15-0s. It's easier if you can grab them all at once, but it seems to be that last little 15-0 is very difficult to grab. So, see if I can do it. Okay, so I'm coming through all of them. I'm going to get close again. Hopefully I can stay in frame for a minute so you can see what I'm doing. So I'm going through all of these, and I'm going to place a 15-0 between this rondelle right here and the 15-0s on top of my crystal. Pull it into place, make sure it's nice and neat, arrange things, and then do the same again. You're coming out of this last 15-0 here, pick up a 15-0, and then we will go into the rondelle and exit and pull the 15-0 into place here. Make sure it's nice and neat. Then pick up another 15-0 seed bead, and we're going to go into this embellishment on top of this crystal. So we're going to go into these 4 beads here. If I can get that last 15-0. Seems really difficult. The easiest way to do it is probably going to be to exit the 11-0 on top and then pick up the last 2 15-0s separately. Now see, as you do this, this is going to pull the other side, everything into place. You're going to see as I do this how everything is just kind of boxing in and looking nicer. Even the little 15-0s on the other side starts to look nicer. So you just want to do this nice and neatly. Don't pull it aggressively hard, but make sure there's no slack and everything falls into place. Now I'm going to pick up my other 2 15-0s here. Pull my thread through. Pick up a 15-0. 15-0 doesn't want to pick up. Okay. The hole is blocked. Pick up a 15-0. Go into this rondelle here and exit it and pull the 15-0 into place. Like so. And then I will pick up another 15-0 and I will work into the beads here. Drop to my needle and my thread. There we go. So I will work all the way down, putting a 15-0 here, 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 until I get all the way to the end of my bracelet. Once I have done that, we will be back. Okay, so I have finished putting my little 15-0 seed bead all the way on this side. Now, as you do this, you want to make sure that you don't pull your tension so tight that you bunch everything up, but the little 15-0s can lay a little bit above, I'll show you, above the other 15-0s, right next to the rondelles, as you can see. that's fine. Just make sure it looks nice and neat and everything flows well. You can mess with it. This gets pretty tight and it kind of squishes up. You can mess with it and manipulate it with your fingers. Stretch it out. Let me show you what I'm doing. Stretch it out, straighten it out, keep it looking nice as you do each step because it kind of wants to crunch up. So you want to make sure, like I said, your tension is tight, but not horribly tight to where you cannot keep things in line. Your little 8/0s in between, once they were popped up, now they look kind of receded because of the way we've done this. Everything needs to look nice and neat and in line the best as possible. So just manipulate it, work with it, and put things where you want them to be as you do this. Now I'm coming out of this very last corner 15/0 here after putting my last 15/0 on here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sew through these 4 15/0s here, right here, and then I am going to sew through these 4 15/0s here, and they're getting a little tight and it's always hard to grab that last 15/0. So I'm just going to get as many as I can. And then I am going to go through this 15/0 in the corner, the one that I always miss, get through it. And then I'm going to go through the 15/0 I just added, the roundel, just the roundel, if I can get to it here. Okay. Push that 15/0 back up there. Alright, now I am just coming out of the roundel. Now, as it is, the bracelet is pretty, but it feels a little unfinished to me with the roundel sticking out. So I decided I wanted to do one more roundel embellishment just to make it a little bit more finished looking. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up 2 15/0 seed beads. Now you're going to have to adjust this, especially with the size of your 15/0s. Sometimes they vary. You want this embellishment to go from rondelle to rondelle without pulling anything and without having thread showing. So I'm going to try it first with 2 15/0s, a rondelle, and 2 15/0s, and see exactly how it fits from rondelle to rondelle. Like I said, without any thread showing and without pulling the bracelet too taut to where it starts to curve. So what I'm going to do, let's get close again, is I'm coming out of the rondelle right here. I'm going to go, I picked up 2 15/0s and a rondelle and 2 15/0s, and I'm going to go into the next rondelle. I'm going to look at it and see how well it fits in there without pulling anything. That's perfect. It doesn't pull anything around, and yet it fits in there nicely without causing a lot of slack. So the next thing I'm going to do is this same embellishment all the way down the side of the bracelet. So I'm going to pick up 2 more 15/0s, a rondelle, and 2 more 15/0s onto my needle, like this. 2 15/0s, rondelle, 2 15/0s. I'm coming out of this rondelle here. I'm going to go directly into the next rondelle. And again, I'm going to make sure that it looks nice without pulling the bracelet or anything, because sometimes it takes a couple of them to see, and that looks fine. So I'm going to continue putting the 2 15/0s, rondelle, 2 15/0s all the way down my bracelet. And then when we get to the very last unit, we'll be back. Okay, so I have gone the entire length doing my last little embellishment on this side. And now I am coming out of the rondelle right here on the very end. As you see, we have nothing to connect up here, no rondelle to slide through. So once you come through the very last rondelle here, Then you're going to avoid the little 15-0 here. Go up into these 4 15-0s that you put on when you were putting on the crystals here, the cubes, and pull your thread through the top 4, just like that. Now I'm going to turn my piece around, sorry about that, and get it to where it's accessible to my left hand. Now I'm coming out of these 4 on top. I'm going to go into this little 15-0 in front of the rondelle, right here, and then into the rondelle on this side that we haven't embellished yet, just like this, and pull it through like so. And then I'm going to turn it again. I can't seem to get it accessible to my hand here. Okay, so now I'm going to start the same thing. I'm coming out of just the rondelle here. I've avoided the 15-0 on this side, and I'm just going to pick up 2 15-0s, a rondelle, and 2 15-0s, and I'm going to go from rondelle to rondelle again. So I'll just slide into this next one right here, avoiding all the 15-0s on either side, and pull my needle through and my thread through. Bring my embellishment down nice and neat with no slack, and then I will just continue doing this embellishment all the way down this side. When we get to the very end, we will be back. Okay, so I have now finished my last embellishment, putting the rondelle and 15-0s between the rondelles on the piece, and all I need to do now is turn it over, sew through some of the beads on the back, and tie it off. Let me show you what it looks like on the back here. So I've turned it over. I'm coming out of this little rondelle right here. I am going to turn this over. I'm going to go into these 15-0 seed, or these 11-0 seed beads here, and pull my needle through. Oops, here we go. I'm going through the 15-0 or the 11-0 seed beads. I came out of this rondelle. I'm going to make sure that my embellishment is nice and it's not moving around at all. And then I am going to grab a little half hitch knot here on the thread bridge. Actually, let's see, what do I want to do? I think I'll just go ahead and hop down into these 8-0s right underneath my 11-0s right here. My original thread path was to go through these, so that's okay. It was through these and then through the 8-0s, so we can follow that thread path. And then I'm going to try to grab this thread bridge here between the two, right here. Let me back off a little so you guys can actually see what I'm doing without me bumping all over the frame here. And then I'm going to make a little knot. Then I'm going to go through these 11-0s here. And you can sew through the back of this as much as you would like. Go down these and grab some half hitch knots over here and just go through your original units. That would be the best way to do this. I want you to see how intricate and pretty this is. This is what the back looks like. I'm going to turn over so you can see what the front looks like and get very close so you can see the details. It's kind of braided on the side. It's really pretty on the back. It's got the little 8-0s between as links. The cubes lay in so they look like they're pave set. It's really nice. This looks like a piece of jewelry that was a piece of fine jewelry that was made with gold and silver or whatever. It looks like rubies and diamonds. It's really pretty. It turned out really nice, and I think that it would be really pretty. Any birthstone color that you wanted to put in here could be a nice birthstone type of bracelet. It could be really pretty with clear ones, anything that you wanted to do. You could probably even put a pearl in each one of these so that you could make it more wedding oriented. Or just if you don't have any cubes, you could try a pearl. I would probably try a 6mm. 4mm is probably going to be a little small presence in there. Let me see. I've got a 4mm pearl here. Yeah, I would say put a 6mm pearl. If you're going to use pearls, put a 6 in there, and that would make it look really pretty. Otherwise, follow the pattern the same. Just put the pearl on and go around it with the things, with the little 15-0 seed beads. It should work out fine. Go ahead and sew through your piece some more. Tie off your thread. We'll be back. I'll show you what it looks like on the wrist. Okay, so I sewed through my piece and grabbed some half-hitch knots and tied off, and this is what the piece looks like on my wrist. Here's the clasping. I think it turned out exceptionally well. And to tell you the truth, I really think that turned out nice. And it's perfect. It's just the right movement on my arm. It's not too big. It didn't squish up and get too small. It's just right. So, and it's really, really very, very pretty. I would be proud to wear this anywhere. And I hope you enjoy this tutorial and make yourself one. It's really pretty. You'll like it and be glad you did. See you later. Bye-bye.